Welcome to Master Trader's Weekly Trade Review. I'm Dan Gibby, and in this lesson, I'm going to show you how we use our technical-based approach and we combine it with a little extra something to make the probability of the trade setup even more overwhelming. We call them shakeouts or tells, if you will. We're technical-based traders. Everything starts with a compelling pattern. Every one of these 9 candlesticks, doesn't matter what instrument, what time frame you're trading, they work equally to the bearish side. This is our starting point of the analysis, and then we take that picture and we overlay it in connection with what trend are you in? Is it on support or resistance? What do multiple time frames tell us? Is it showing relative strength or weakness? What are the broader markets doing? And then that tells us whether we have a high probability setup or not. So every one of these, we can add this additional element of a shakeout or a tell. And I'll explain that in a moment here. But let's start with our daily chart here of Bumble. Every daily chart, we just have simple red and green candlesticks, color-coded volume, couple moving averages, which we say just speeds up the analysis. The blue is 20, green 50, red 200. So notice, let's start talking here. This is what we call a bearish gap shock pattern. All these bulls are shocked. I have declining long-term trend. I had flat intermediate term trend, and my short-term trend was rolling over. We define trends as the arrangement of pivot highs and lows. That's what these dots are showing. These are pivot highs, which there's nothing proprietary. The computer spits them out. A pivot high is 3 higher low bars to the left and right. So prices pivoted here. Some people call them swing highs and lows. And then the reverse, obviously, on the pivot lows. So we're in a downtrend. We have a lower pivot highs, lower pivot lows. But we always were watching setups, as I said, candlestick arrangements, but individual concepts of trend, strength, or weakness. So notice these 3 stars. This was a big green bar at the day's high, so that was an attempted breakout after a big sell-off, rounded bottom, and it just got smacked. Did you remember that whack-a-mole game when you were a kid? The little mole pops out and it just gets whacked. Here's another one. That's what we call a sell setup in a downtrend. Really didn't get very far on this one, but it did add a gap. Range expansion, got whacked. Here's another one, a small attempt to bounce, got whacked. Another big bearish wide range closing breakdown with declining 20, 50, 200. So this is very bearish price action. Now here looked like another short, but it had what we call no follow through. Notice this real body. So the stock opened here with a very bullish gap. Then this is the day's high, the candlestick, the wick. And so that was an attempt again to move higher, but the day's not over. At the end of the day, this daily bar closed with a range expansion bar, topping tail, 100% gap fill. Does that mean I short it right here? No, because there's no price war, there's no pattern. But it's on my radar list. The next bar, I could actually put these 3 stars here again from our whack-a-mole analogy. It had tried to bounce in 50% into this, got whacked, closed below the open, topping tail, lower low, lower high bar, inside bar, and then it trades below it. This is what we call a breakdown. It was a bear 1, 2, 3 continuation here. So we love trading options, buying calls and puts for directional trades when they're liquid because we have the benefit of leverage and limited risk. So when it traded under these bars lows on this day where I'm pointing, this is a Telegram alert. The format is the same for all of our subscribers. We give the date, the symbol, the stock or option strategy. In this case, we are buying in the money put options. We paid $1.05 a share. We give the technical setup, breakdown at the 20-period moving average after huge upside shakeout. That's what this bar is. It's an upside shakeout. The bulls got trapped. We also use this term, the tell, and I'm giving you some pictures of these smart Brazilian poker players. It's something happens in poker when they say, I got you. You have now shown your hand, and I'm ready to move forward with my approach. That's what this tells us. Once it closed with this 1, 2, 3, 2 topping tails, that's my tell. So in 1 hour, watch this. This is a 15-minute chart, so these dotted lines are one trading day. And so notice here, I have these 3 stars here again because we're on kind of this whack-a-mole analogy. This is what we call a bear 180. This tried to break out and immediately got whacked down with 2 wide range bars. That's bearish. Here's another attempt to move higher, failed. Here's another attempt to move higher into the close, failed. Sold off into the close. We, under this prior day's low, that's right where we gave this alert to subscribers. And notice, 10:26 a.m. Notice this big fluid fall. This is what we now call a climactic buy setup. So it's short term, extended to the downside. So we sold half of our long puts for $1.55 a share. Folks, that's 50% return in 1 hour. Leverage and limited risk. That's another benefit of trading options. Let's say this thing gets bought out at $30 the next day. Well, guess what? Our maximum loss is what we paid for it. We lose $1.05 a share, less, of course, the gain we already booked. Whereas if you were short the stock at 17 bucks and it gaps up to $30, you're now in the hole $13. That highlights an additional benefit of this. And this now is what we call a bearish end of day base. It could not bounce at all. And I'm not showing you the broader markets, but the broader markets had a beautiful 2-hour rally into the close. And this couldn't even get above these topping tails. So this is actually a beautiful continuation short under this bar's low. And this was a beautiful setup both for day or swing trading. I marked this one right here in our green trading room. We love trading the mornings and the afternoons. This would have been a bear 1, 2, 3 continuation for all the reasons I just talked about. And now this is a closing new low, inside bar, price void. That would have been a beautiful day trade. Just going to show you the weekly charts here because multiple time frame analysis and the concept of a price void are concepts part of our overall approach. So this weekly chart, obviously, 1 bar is 5 days. So the upside shakeout I just showed you on the daily chart, here's what it is on the weekly chart. Big top and tail, closing week, and I now have a closing breakdown with nothing to the left. Here's a monthly chart. Yeah, there's a tail over here, but this consolidation here in failure, we say neutralizes that as a significant reference point. So I'm viewing this as all-time lows right now, and I don't know where it's going to stop. So we're just going to go into our trail pivot mode using master trade strategies. Interesting, this is a competitor of Bumble, Match.com. Similar setups, not identical of course, but you'll see the same tell with this attempted gap breakout was a bullish gap, potential bottoming pattern, immediately sold into. Now we have a bear 1, 2, 3 continuation with a price void, meaning there's no significant support or resistance to the left. This is a closed trade in the members area, and so we bought in the money puts again, another bearish directional option trade. And here's a technical setup, a bear 1, 2, 3 breakdown at the 20 MA. We sold half into weakness, or this one we made 74% return in 1 day. So 3-day trade, had a beautiful, I can tell here we actually left some money on the table because we trail stopped out over a prior bar's high right here. And when we do have different trail management modes where you only cover half and then you let it bounce and pivot, and had we done that, we would have had a bigger gain. But I hope that helps. And these two trades I'm showing you are in the Master Trader Advisory Swing and Options letter, where we trade stocks, options, we trade cryptocurrencies, we trade anything that moves. We buy and sell options as income trades. And my partner Greg Capper does a phenomenal detailed market review using our technical fundamental approach, looking at the markets, the sectors, market internals, intermarket relationships, and plenty of stock and option ideas. Hope that helped. As always, email Greg or me with any questions. Good trading, and see you in the next trade review video.